Hi, my name is Andrew Cussen. I work with Dublin Academy Education. I'm here on my holidays. I want to do a very quick review of the Leaving Cert 2025 biology paper. So taking a quick look at section A, we can see there's a lot of standard questions typically come up most years. Food, again, always predicted, worth 5% of the paper, came up as again. Proteins were something we were thinking that would feature heavily, and it did feature a little bit in that question. We saw some plants come up, we saw respiration, the cell, bacteria, a lot of kind of mixed questions there. One thing that did really stand out this year was there was a lot more drawings in section A than there would normally be. A lot of drawings it did ask you to draw this year would normally appear in section C, but again, easy to pick up some marks in those kind of questions. Moving on to section B, we saw our experiment style questions, and as expected we saw the ecology and osmosis appear. These were predictions I put forward with RTE. Again, never rely 100% on predictions. They were something that we were looking at for the main paper to appear this year. We can see the ecology question really focused on the quantitative study and a few on the abiotic factors. We could see that our osmosis experiment very similar to 2024 third paper question, starting off with definition, then asking you to give a full review of the experiment itself with a drawing. So nice marks we picked up there. And finally, we could see an experiment on our leaf yeast. Trickier question, won't always be students' favourite experiment, but nice to pick up marks very similar to what has been asked before. And again, a diagram which will always help with picking up some more marks too. On to section C, again a broad range of questions. So we can see starting off with some plant-based questions. Reproduction really featured heavy this year, especially vegetative propagation. Responses come up there, and seed dispersal. We didn't see transport, we were thinking that could come up, but didn't feature this year in that question. Genetics, dihybrid crosses, something that we were banking on this year, did feature, and DNA profiling, of course, also expected to appear for that section. Photosynthesis and enzymes also featured heavily in papers, and it typically comes up both years. We thought enzymes might appear in section A, but we're happy to see them come up in section C. We can pick up a lot of marks as well. Nervous system and the sensory system both came up together. Absolutely a banker for this year. We were expecting them to come up, and we're happy to see that they feature. The eye and the ear both appeared there, so nice marks to pick up. Nothing too tricky that stood out there, so nice marks overall. Ecology, a standard question. It starts off with definitions. We can see an article came up as well, as expected. We did see predator prey, very similar to the 2024 paper question. And again, nitrogen fixation, there was a toss-up between carbon cycle and nitrogen cycle, and we could see nitrogen cycle featured this year, as well as pollution. All expected topics for this year. On to your last sets of questions, which were all about your choices. You could see fungi, breeding, cell division, and human defense all featured. We were expecting breeding to appear. Human defense wasn't, it was tipped for this year. We could see a little bit of a link to lymphatic system and vaccination as well. That's something that I mentioned with my own classes. So it could feature on the paper, and it did. Cell division was a little bit of a surprise. It did feature last year, but we could see it come up again. And finally, on to our last question. We can start off with the heart, which we thought was going to come up this year, and we're absolutely right, it did appear. A good link to circuits, which is also due to appear. We could see the skeleton chapter, and we had it right there with the sketch of our long bone, and that did come up as expected for this year. And then we can see excretion, which comes up most years. ADH heavily featured, which was something that we were looking to see too. And finally, human reproduction. We were leaning more towards possibly being female this year, but it went back to male. But again, very repetitive questions in line with what has been asked before. Overall, the paper was very manageable. I did think it was a very nice, fair paper. It covered a lot of material there, but it really allows you to pick up a lot of easy marks. Very repetitive questions based off previous years, which is always the go-to of biology. It's the same thing gets asked year in, year out. A few questions there that were a little bit trickier, but with the amount of choice you have, you were able to pick up your marks across the paper itself. The very best of luck with the rest of your Leaving Cert exams, and hopefully you get the marks that you were looking for, and best of luck with your future.